Alright guys, so welcome back. Like it's always all about history right on this channel, and in the previous video we're still on the Fourth Republic making of Nigeria. And in the last video I explained about how religion Islam was spread through the north, most especially because of the Quran, which was used as a tool for literacy. And then going forward, apart from that, the Atlantic and seaborne trade, and even so consequently, European influences were not even of marginal importance until the 16th century. And then for the next 200 years, only in the Niger Delta, with the exception of the slave trade's effect on coastal areas by the late 18th century. Then we have the Europe's full impact on economic, religious, education, and ultimately political, which would not be felt in large part of what will become Nigeria until the late 19th century. By then, states had risen, fallen, and re-emerged in different forms. Islam had not just penetrated here and there, but then in the early 19th century, it had swept by sword through the north. That was when that was when Usman Danfodio of the Fulani. It is important to note that Nigeria is housed predominantly the Hausa, but in the early 19th century, Usman Danfodio led the Islamic jihad that conquered the Hausa Caliphate, and then he established a Muslim setting of Hausa Fulani in the 19th century, and that's what brought about the start of Hausa Fulani in Nigeria, where we have the seat of the Caliphate at Sokoto and Gwandu. It had swept through sword by the north and then stopped only by hills and the forest. The Texas fly and the forest stopped invading cavalry as man could not. The hills and mountain provided refuge, so to the swamps and creeks far to the north, which must have been unfathomable to Nigerian outsiders as they were to the succession of European explorers trying to solve the great geographical mystery of the Niger, which is Nigeria. Most of these Europeans that's exploited and colonized Nigeria were once explorers looking for whatever it is, mineral resources and whatever you can just think of, and they just feel the black nation is this populous black nation can just be exploited, and they remain part of the history and the making of Nigeria. Then the Europeans, starting with the Portuguese, had come for a variety of reasons. Part of them is Africa's primary attraction in the beginning was not the slave trade, but spices. What they actually came with the Portuguese, what they actually came for in Africa was not the slave trade, but that was one of the spice of the Portuguese coming to Nigeria then. But soon the men to work in New World plantation surpassed all else, which is that the trade, I mean the buying and selling, the transaction of slaves to work in the world plantation of the farms, the banana and whatever it is, supersede whatever the reason they were in Africa for, because the time did, because it is forced labor and they found it amusing, and whatever it is, the humanization that and whatever it is that comes with slavery. And then England was the first to react against slavery, even though they were also part of the slavers. But then on the long run, they were the first to react to against slavery, and again for an array of economic, religious, and ethnic reasons. Those same reasons brought English missionaries and explorers and administrators to Nigeria, especially after the region's economic potential in such commodities as palm oil was apparent. So I can say even England that react against the slave trade has everything to their own interest, but that will be a talk for another day. In the next topic, we'll be talking about the British legacy, what the British left behind for us before independence and during and post, I mean pre-colonial, what they left for us, the legacy, the teachings, the practices, what it is they left behind will be talked about in the next video. Until then,